Hello, I'm Daniel Sketchley.
And I'm Callum Byrne.
We've been friends for more than 10 years, sharing lifelong passions such as film and music,
But most importantly, football, through the ups and the downs.
the celebration and the heartbreak.
However, he's a blue nose.
And he's a villain.
This is the Second City podcast.
Hello, Carl, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not as out there as you, though. You're back in Malta, I believe, overseas.
Yeah, another episode from a hotel room. Another one. This is the hat trick, the perfect hat trick of hotel rooms, I think.
Nice.
Um, but yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
I do love
podcast might be
Malta.
a little bit laggy this week for that
Yeah,
reason.
there's going to be lots of talking over each other just because hotel Wi-Fi is not renowned for being amazing.
Yeah, sure. You managed to see the Villa game though from where you were.
I did. I found a bar just in the centre of Valletta called Fat Harry's, and managed to get a few members of the crew out. So maybe they were the good luck charm this weekend, but we'll probably get into that a bit later on.
Wow.
But
Yeah, we'll get into that. We
yeah,
all went to Malta about 4 years ago. Great, great time. Valletta,
yeah.
wicked
Oh,
city, wicked place.
Wicked City. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love it.
Actually,
Yeah,
our logo photo was like me in my blue shirt, you in your Villa shirt.
yeah,
That was actually taken in Malta, I believe, in front of the fountain in Valletta.
yeah,
It's a bit of trivia for you.
yeah.
Sweet. Shall we? So this week we're going to talk about. Obviously, we'll start with what we're wearing, which is what we do every week. So I'll wear a blue shirt, Callum wears a Villa shirt, and we just talk about our memories of that season and that kit and what we, how we look back on it and so on. Then we'll get into obviously Villa had a game against West Ham in the Premier League after the international break. Blues obviously kicked off the Wayne Rooney era away at Middlesbrough. So lots to get into there. Very eventful couple of weeks at Blues. And then we'll get into a couple of other little things going on at both clubs in the background. And then we'll look ahead to our midweek and weekend games. If that
Yeah,
sounds
another
good to you,
double.
Cal?
Absolutely, it's another double game week coming up. So
Yeah. In fact,
much.
this is probably the first sort of single game week we've covered in ages.
It
Not the last time
is.
we look back on one.
Yeah.
Shall we start with what we're wearing then?
Yeah. Oh, you've gone, I think, relatively recent. I have a feeling we might be. Are we in the same season? Well, I think you're 1920 home.
Bang on, absolutely bang on. Yeah, so this is our 1920 home not home kit. It's the Adidas with like the yellow trim, the slightly darker sleeves, Spoil Sports as the sponsor, and Adidas. And the reason, so I'm pretty sure I wore the away kit from this season a few weeks ago, like the black one.
The charcoal one.
Um, yeah, so I
Yeah.
already talked a bit about like memories from that season. This was obviously like Bellingham's breakthrough season, and there's actually times this season where it really looked like it was all coming together, if you know what I mean. Like we had a
Hmm.
Friday night game against Middlesbrough, we were just like unbelievable. And there was at times when it looked like Pep Clotet's football was actually kind of coming together.
The
There's
Scott
a few
Hogan
like
era
like
started.
yeah, Scott Hogan signed for us in the January. Jukovic had a really good season. He's kind of the first apart from Jude, he's probably the first player I think of when I see this kid. Um, but yeah, when we had a few good, really individual players like Sunic came in this year and really started well before obviously kind of tailing off a bit. Dan Crowley was a player I always liked at Blues who obviously it didn't really work out with in the long term, but he came in this season and I liked him quite a bit as a player. Um, Lee Camp in goal, obviously, fantastic. Devices together, memorable. And then it was kind of more after lockdown, things really kind of went south. We didn't win a single game after lockdown. Right before lockdown, we'd won, and I think we lost the very last game before lockdown, but had been on quite a good run otherwise. And we're actually talking about, we're only like 6 or 7 points off playoffs here, and it's really after lockdown where things came completely undone. Uh, but do have some good memories from that season. Obviously, Jude Bellingham's breakthrough season was there for like his first goal. Was there for his goal at Charlton away, which was unbelievable. Like almost right behind the goal for that. And the kit itself has really grown on me over the years. I've always I've always liked it, but I liked it when it was revealed. But now it's like genuinely probably one of my favorites. The Adidas kits in general are amongst my favorites, and as you could maybe tell, I thought I should probably wear it sooner rather than later because for some reason a lot of the letters are coming off this one, like
Oh.
that Boyle Sports. Um, so I thought I should probably get it on sooner rather than later before all the letters come. And so yeah, this is that season 2019-20. I also a side note, the kit reveal for this kit was unreal. I don't know if you remember it at all. I
Was it
did
the Peaky
send it to
Blinders
us.
one?
It was, yeah. So like it was the I find the whole idea of kit reveals a bit cringy. I
Yeah.
find it all a bit like why do you need a reveal for the kit? But um they did that a really cool video where it's like a few of the players. I think it's like Duke, Wes Harding, Shay Adams, maybe Harley Dean, Michael Morrison, maybe. And they're all there like in their Peaky Blinders garbs, like walking down. It kind of looks like a sort of 1920s small heath or something. And then the camera sort of whip pans and it's then them in the kit like playing with like one of the old school sort of rock art football sort of in the streets. It's just a really cool like little video, which I had a lot of time for, actually really polished and stuff. So yeah, this is a 2019 home.
Nice.
You give me a slight clue. You said it was recent. 32 red. It's a Luke kit. You only had them for
It's,
1 year.
yeah.
So it'd be the year before this season, I think. I think this would be 2018-19. Third, 2018 third kit.
Correct. 2018-19 third kit. The promotion year. Um, this is the like purple third kit with like the sort of like V shape sort of silhouettes in it. I absolutely love this kit. Absolutely. I mean, as I said before, all of our loot kits for that season were really, really good. But as alternate kits go, I feel like this is like almost a perfect alternate kit. It's a different color. The design on it's really, really nice. Yeah, I think it's just a great kit. The quality of it's really, really nice. Although I did have an incident with the sponsor on the front of it, where in my wardrobe through the heat wave, the letters all stuck to each other, and then when I like
Oh gosh.
pulled it out, it like just like destroyed it, and it looked terrible. So I did,
Yeah.
so I did get the sponsor replaced about a year or two ago. So yeah, great season. Obviously, we got promoted. The Dean Smith era started. We had that 10-game winning run. But this shirt didn't get worn a lot. It didn't get announced till really late in the season. Maybe like almost in October, which is quite late for a third kit, really, if you're going to have one. And we hadn't had a third kit for about 6 or 7 years. So it kind of came out the blue. And it meant that a lot of the games where we should have really worn it had already gone before we'd even announced it. And it meant that we only played a handful of league games in this kit. We only won one league game in the kit, which was away at Rotherham, that famous night at Rotherham where we were a goal down to 10 men, and then turned it around in the second half. I did see one of the very few games that we played in this kit away at Brentford on a night I really wish I could forget. The worst
Yes.
away day I have ever done.
I think I remember you
Comfortably.
telling me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went with someone from my work who was a Bees fan. And so he was in the home end on the terraces, and I was in the away end. Almost like Luton, the old Griffin Park, where you sort of were going through an alleyway with houses and gardens either side of you. Um, Wicked little ground. It's a shame it's gone. Um, but yeah, we were really, really poor. We lost 1-0 in the 94th minute when Neil Mopay popped it into the top corner. We never really looked like scoring all night. And I remember
The,
coming out the
the
ground
only
that night.
the only goal Neil Morpay's ever scored,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. But I remember coming out the ground that night, and I saw my mate, and I said to him, I was like, "You've just killed our promotion hopes. That's it. It's all over for us." Little did I know, Dan, we were just going to basically win every single game after that point and win the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember. I worked at I remember I worked in Sainsbury's at the time. I remember I had Villa fans around that time of the season there saying like, "Oh, like this year's gone." Like even the most optimistic of Villa fans were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, there's no chance this year." Like build towards next year, and I'm like, "Yeah, no chance, pal. I think you're done now for quite a
Yeah.
while. I don't think you'll be going up anytime soon. Your third year in the Championship, and you're not going up this year. So
Yeah.
yes, obviously the next few weeks I would rather forget. I think.
Yeah. Shall we dive into Wayne Rooney's managerial debut at Birmingham City, Dan? I'm
Yes,
sure you want to relive it massively.
yeah, all still a bit surreal, all still a bit mad, really. It's the whole Rooney thing. It's all happening, and it's absolutely official now. Would you like a mad bit of trivia, Carl? That I realised this is. I didn't read this anywhere. I just worked this out to my credit. Um, with Rooney now having managed a game, and with Lucas Jukovic coming off the bench in this game, I'm pretty sure Jukovic has now played under 10 separate managers at Blues, and that's not counting like interims or anything. 10 permanent full time managers. If you count the
Jeez.
interims, it's like I don't know, God knows how many. So I think that's right. So I think Rowett signed him on loan. I think he became a permanent under Zola, and then we had Redknapp, Cottrell, Monk, Clotet, Karanka, Bowyer, Eustace, Rooney. Eustace, sorry, Euclid has played under all 10 of them. That's just mad. Um,
That's a crazy stat as well.
Yeah, I wonder when the last time that was that a player at Blues played under 10 separate managers. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, so obviously, sadly, we lost. We were at Middlesbrough away. Um, Rooney, interestingly, obviously, this was his very first game. Interestingly, surprised me by changing the shape and with a few of the players that went in. So they've been talking about this, like, wanted to play this no fear football, is the words like the CEOs used. And I've seen that's got a bit of sort of stick online and so on, it seems like. And it seemed like they were going to go for like a more. So I didn't go to the game. I just had it on WM and then kind of watched the highlights and so on. But it looked like they were trying to go for a more open, get the ball on the ground, playing out from the back. It seemed like and being a bit more adventurous with it, I guess. But I think it's safe to say it really kind of backfired. And I would actually argue. So we went to a 4-3-3 when Eustace had always played a 4-2-3-1. I would actually argue a 4-3-3 is less attacking than a 4-2-3-1,
Yeah.
arguably, because Miyoshi was dropped. And so we played a three up front of Hogan in the middle, and then I think Stansfield and Dembele on the wings. Whereas normally we'd play, for example, Hogan up front, and then you could have like Stansfield, Dembele, Miyoshi, or Anderson, Miyoshi, Dembele as like the three behind him. And I actually really liked what was going on with. We seem to for a few games have Stansfield up top, and then the three behind would be like Dembele, Miyoshi, Bakuna, and I think Bakuna had just came back off international duty like the day before, so I can completely understand why he didn't start. But it kind of seems strange to me to revert to that system, and then the midfield three. A lot of the season we've had Bielik and Sunjic in there, and they've worked really well together. Sunjic has improved massively, I think, with having Bielik with him this season. But there's actually been a lot of talk about like Jordan James has done really well lately with Wales. He had a really good game apparently against Croatia. I think they won 2-1. And apparently he was like fantastic. So there's a lot of talk. Could he go into the team? But instead, he put a midfield three in with Gary Gardner in there instead as the first. I do not know the last time Gary Gardner started a league game for Blues. But he seems to be playing more in the middle, and then that meant Bielik and Sunjic seem to be like splintering off to play a bit wider, and that's just really weird to me. That's what it seemed like anyway. That's what it sounded like. It could be Sunjic for sure was kind of peeling off to the right, and that to me is quite strange. Maybe at times Bielik was more in the centre and Gardner was going out slightly wider. Um, but that just seems strange to me. You had a midfield two that for the most part has worked this season. So that all just seemed strange to me, and it sounded like for a lot of the game we were just really open, and we're a bit lucky that we didn't concede earlier. And in the end, we got done by a really poor piece of defending. I think Sanderson's out of position. Long doesn't really know which man he's tracking, and the ball comes in and really gets beaten at the near post. Not really his fault, I wouldn't say. It looked like he actually had a really good game and actually maybe helped keep the score down. So I think all round it was a bit of a misfire, kind of tactically, and just in terms of performance levels. But it's his first game, whatever. Like, it's his first game.
But the new manager bounced
So
down.
I'm not going to be the new manager bounce. I know, yes, I know. But we did say like this is quite a hard run of fixtures for Rooney to come into. His next few games are pretty difficult. But I'm certainly. I mean, everyone's saying, "Oh, we won a couple of games before Rooney came in," and that is very true. But our away form this season has actually been really poor. I think we've lost our last, is it 5 or 6 straight away games now? And I think our last away game was Norwich, and we were really poor then. Watford, we lost that 2-0. This actually sounds pretty similar to all them performances. So I don't think, I think the way Rooney or the coaching setup approached it contributed to it, but this isn't like we're undoing like a really strong run here, a team that was absolutely on fire. But I would have thought, if it were me, I would have kept it mostly the same. I would have at least kept the shape of the team the same. If he wants to change a few personnel, then okay, I think we've got the capability to do that now. But changing the shape and a few of the players for players that, play like Gardner, who hasn't really played much at all, I found a little bit strange, I must say.
Shall we talk about the Villa game?
If we
What have we
must,
got?
if we must.
Oh, let's do it, Dan, because we're going to win the league. Had it here first.
Get it over with. Let's just get it over with. Go on, you talk. I'll go do something. I'll leave you to it. I'll go do something else for 10 minutes.
What would you do if we won the league, Dan? What would you do?
I'd stop doing this podcast for one. For one, yeah, I'd stop doing the podcast. God, I don't even know. I'd move to New York for sure. Whatever money I've got, I'd band it together. I'd find a way. I'd have to get out. It'd be awful.
Uh,
I didn't see any of the Villa game. Thank God. But
yeah,
your home form's just unbelievable. It's just insane. Like,
yeah. I mean, we've won 11 Premier League games now in a row at Villa Park, so that dates. The last time we lost a Premier League game at Villa Park would have been that 2 games where we lost to Arsenal and then lost to Leicester, and we let 8 goals in, with a defeat to Manchester City at the Etihad in between. Um, but yeah, we've won every single Premier League game after that. And in fact, we've won every game in all competitions apart from when we played a bit of a joke team against Everton in the League Cup a couple of weeks ago. So really, like you've got the Hibs game, you've got the Mostar game, and there could even be another game in there as well, where we've just turned the home ground into a real fortress. We are probably one of the hardest away games to go to in the league on form at the moment. Yeah, it's mad, really. It's crazy. I'm not used to it. Like, if you're a season ticket holder right now, like the amount of, like, you must be loving life, like really, because pretty much every game, we're scoring a lot of goals. We've scored 17 goals in all our home games in the Premier League this season as well, which is mad, really, because we've only played maybe like 5 games, maybe at home.
yeah, if that. Yeah.
It could be even before. So yeah, no, we were fantastic. We were at it from the start, really. We put West Ham under a lot of pressure early on. Should have maybe gone ahead before we did. It definitely felt like a goal was coming. It was just a matter of when, not if, really. And Ollie Watkins has a great little bit of play, link up with Nicolò Zaniolo, and lays it off beautifully to Douglas Luiz, who slots it in. Goalkeeper probably should have saved it, really. But hey, you take it. And that meant Douglas Luiz became the first Aston Villa player to score in 6 consecutive home matches, which is insane. It's absolutely incredible for a player
Get that in the trophy cabinet.
that.
Get the open. Oh, at least you've got that. I haven't won a trophy in about 30 years, but at least you should have that. Get the open top bus out.
We're getting it ready for the title parade. It's fine.
Ugh.
But I mean, for a player who came into us as a number 6, was in and out of the team, that first season with us, where you could tell that he had some technical ability, but I remember saying, "What is his position?" He wasn't disciplined enough to be a 6. probably wasn't athletic enough to play a sort of box to box role. But yeah, he's absolutely thriving in this double pivot with Boubacar Kamara. Absolutely thriving, and he's become a player that's so integral to our system. When he's not playing, we look a completely different team. It's like back in the Dean Smith era, you took Jack Grealish out of the team. We look like a completely different team. Um, and it's mad because 12 months ago he wasn't a regular in the 11 under Gerrard. It's only just crossed 12 months since Steven Gerrard was sacked. So
Years a long time in football.
a year is a long, long time in football. Um, and then he bagged the second goal, scored the penalty. So his penalty record with us is still 100%. And yeah, we were there. It was like we got the second goal, calm it down. We should be able to see the game out. Jared Bowen scores a deflected goal. Not a lot that Emi Martinez could do about that. As soon as it hit off Pau Torres, I was in the bar. I went, "Oh, it's going in," and it was just like agonizing for that. Like maybe like it felt like 5 seconds, but it was probably only about like a second and a half where it just like span round and into the far corner. And West Ham really went for us then. They put us under a lot of pressure. They had a lot of corners, and they got James Ward-Prowse, who's great from a dead ball situation, and they got a lot of tall players, a lot of strong players. The likes of Zuma and Agerd and Thomas Souček. They're all very good in the air. Antonio as well is very strong, good in the air. And we were able to just to weather the storm a little bit, and we just hit them on the counter. John McGinn plays a lovely ball through, and Ollie Watkins ends up sort of one-on-one. He's got Zuma there as well. And he goes to the outside of Kurt Zuma and just thumps it with his weak foot at the near post, goes high, top corner. And the power takes it past Areola. He doesn't even move. So, and that was that point of like, okay, we will win the game now. It's kind of relaxed.
Can enjoy it from there on.
Yeah, even though there was like 15 minutes to go. And then Tielemans and Bailey come on, and they link up really nicely, and we grab a fourth, a beautiful finish from Leon Bailey. He's like, you look at his goal record this year to like the minutes he's played is incredible, really. So, he's just got, when he gets these chances in the team, he's got to take it away from home, really, because that's his home form's really good for us this year, and it always has been pretty good, his home form. So. He just needs just needs to be able to do it away from home, and he'll get back into the starting 11 one way or another. But yeah, commanding victory. We're fifth in the league. Things are great.
The economy is booming.
Yeah. I think we're averaging just over 2 points a game and doing Emery, which is it's phenomenal.
That's pretty mental.
Yeah, his win percentages I think is like 53%. It's staggering, really, because it's mostly the same squad, bar like 2 or 3 players to what we had 12 months ago.
And it's over quite like you say, Gerrard's been gone a year, so Emery's been there nearly a year now. That's quite a long time to have a win percentage that dominant as well.
Yeah, and the impact that he's had is like we can talk about it for hours, and we'll talk about it for weeks, because it is just the turnaround has been incredible, really. And like I really, really love this squad at the moment. There's a real like good feeling around this squad and these players, which 12 months ago there probably wasn't. You're like, oh, this player's no good, he's got to go. Get rid of this player. This player's lazy. And no, we've got to. This is a special time, I think, to be a Villa fan at the moment, and we've got to enjoy it because you don't know what's around the corner, really. And I think we understand that after what the mad sort of 10 years that we've had, really. So yeah, the good times are back, so let's enjoy it. But we've got a big game that's coming up this week. But should we do some housekeeping?
Yes, let's get into the housekeeping. Do you want to start, or shall I start?
I'll just because we're on Villa, I'll just get my little bit out, which was obviously while we had the international break, there was firstly some rumours, and then it sort of came out that Nicolò Zaniolo has been involved in sort of a betting scandal, which is sort of rife through Italian football. Obviously, Sandro Tonali is one of the big names that's come out of this. Um, and he's probably going to get a ban. And there's maybe a can of worms as to why AC Milan might have sold him in the summer. Um, and it could be why Galatasaray was a. I mean, maybe we would have gone and got Nicolò Zaniolo anyway, but maybe why they were a bit more willing to let him go, having only had him for 6 months. But it looks like he hasn't bet on any matches, which is the big difference between Tonali and Ivan Toney, for example. So
Right.
it's one to watch. And the fact that he started yesterday, I mean, we're a bit threadbare in a few places in the squad. So he was obviously, like, if we can keep him in the squad, we'll keep him in the squad. Um, but it's just one to watch, really. So it looks like he might be okay, but we'll see. There's more to this, I think, than has already come out. So just keep an eye on that one, really.
Sure. We'll update as we go week by week. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. Uh, Definitely a bigger issue in football, though, for sure. I feel like we probably haven't
Yeah.
heard the last of it in general.
Doesn't help that things like this are on all the
No, we're
shirts.
literally both wearing. Yeah, I think we mention this. I can't remember if we did actually mention it on a podcast or one of the like rehearsal ones we did where we talked about something similar. Um, but how like sort of, again, it's a much bigger debate. We can maybe do a whole separate podcast
Yeah.
on Sunday. But how when like the smoking ban came in, how like a real push on like gambling and betting and
Yeah.
so on in football kind of replaced it almost to try and like get football fans money and so
Yeah.
on. But yeah, that's a story for another day. But yeah, a huge issue. Yeah, on the Blues front, in terms of away from the pitch, we talk about kits earlier. We've had a new kit drop, a new third kit. You mentioned your third kit there dropping in
Yeah.
October. Yeah, this is pretty late in the day as well. It's about October the 19th or 20th. Our third kit for the year dropped. I am not a huge fan of third kits in general. I think it's a bit of a, I don't know, especially when your home kit's blue and your away kit's like a
Yeah.
reddy, orangey color. You don't need a third kit. You never have
No.
need for three kits. Um, so I'm not a huge fan of it in general as a concept. I don't think I've ever bought a third kit. Not out of principle. I just don't think I've ever actually bought one. But I do quite like it. I do quite like it. It's like an all black, top
Yeah.
to bottom black kit, and I think it looks pretty sleek. We wore it at Middlesbrough. Um, Not the most like imaginative, not the most like groundbreaking or anything. Not massively dissimilar to like I wore our black away kit from this season actually a few weeks ago. I mean, it is different, but it's not like anything
No.
like life changing or anything like that. But I do think it's pretty nice. I I saw though online someone mocked up like a full mock up of what a full on blackout kit could look like. Like based on the Dortmund one.
Yeah.
The Dortmund had it, so that's where like the kit is
And
black.
Germany had one at the Euros as well.
Oh, they did, yeah. So the kit's black, but so is like the badge and the sponsor and
Yeah.
the kit maker and everything. But it's like a different shade of black, so it still kind of stands out. And they look so slick. It would have been really cool
Yeah.
if we'd had something like that. So it feels like a slight missed opportunity in that sense. But it's probably the nicest of the three kits we've got this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, I actually went into town on Friday. When I was in town, I had a look at. They opened one of the little in Link Street, the football shirt shops. Like I think it was like Mystery Football or one of them,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
they sell like retro shirts. And I went to one of these. It was a different company that had opened it, but it was the same space in like March time, and got a couple of ones there. There was loads of cool blue shirts there. Um, it's been naff this time though. Literally all they had was like they had like about three blue shirts. I think the shop had already been open for a day, so maybe a lot of good ones have gone.
Ah.
But it was like that's just like so expensive, man. Like
Yeah.
they had 2004 home shirt with Robbie Savage on the back, number 8, and I was like, that's pretty cool. 70 quid, like, come on, guys, come on, I'm not forking that for that. But then they also had the Penguin home shirt from 2007, the Steve Bruce, Alex McLeish one. And I was like, I never got that kit as a kid, and I always wished I had. So I was like,
No.
it's 50 quid. I was like, probably not then. look on the back, Daniel Derrida on the back. I'm definitely not going. If anything, that did go over a bit. So that was a slight shame. But yeah, in terms of the new kit, yeah, it's pretty nice. On we go.
Do you think? Do you think, Dan, that like because when we spoke about Rooney coming in and Eustace getting sacked a couple of weeks ago, um, we talked about how it may have been in the pipeline for a few weeks. You know, and these new owners they like parading Tom Brady around the pitch on the first day and all that. Do you reckon, like, with Rooney coming in, the media attention being on the club, maybe they're like, well, now we'll release the third kit.
Maybe, probably, possibly, yeah. I mean, they first mentioned it in like a letter, like the third kit was coming like ages ago, like probably at least a month ago, 6 weeks maybe. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. I think as well I'm not too sure on this, but apparently there was some like stock issues with the home and the away kit, and this was all to do with the previous owners, and the stock levels were decided like ages ago, and the kit design and everything. So I think this new kit is maybe to, accommodate for that and get some kits in for like Christmas and stuff so people can buy them and so on. Wouldn't shock me at all. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
Shall we talk matches coming up then? Because it's the double game
Yeah,
week.
absolutely. Should we go chronologically?
Yeah, I think so. So you're playing on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're playing Wednesday night. Rooney's first home game, so it should be a real occasion, hopefully. And I don't think the lower stands are fully open or anything yet, but it looks like the seating, at least in the Tilton end, has been completely put in. The safe standing, I should say. So it's all looking a lot better. The stadium's already looking way better. And hopefully it should be a big occasion. Hopefully people turn up and the atmosphere gets rocking. Um, and like, obviously we talked about the Middlesbrough game and some disappointment there, but it was his first game. I'm more than willing to cut him some slack, and it's about how he learns from this and where we go from here. But Hull will be no easy game. They've improved massively this season, although they
Well, it's
are on a
Rooney's old assistant, isn't it, Liam Rosenior?
yes. So yeah, so Rosenior was his assistant at Derby County, and we've spoken before. Rosenior is, I think he's got a huge future. I think he could be really something. Um, they've had a slight downturn in form lately, I think, but they are having a good season overall, and they are the only team to beat Leicester so far this season, and Leicester obviously are absolutely running away with the league this year. So it'll be no easy game at all. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see because obviously they do know each other. Tactically, how that plays, it's kind of going to be a trend with Rooney. I think he has ties to a lot of people. Obviously, Michael Carrick, who was manager of Middlesbrough in the last game. Obviously, they've got history at Man United. But he could do with getting a result on the board because I think after that we've then got Southampton and then Ipswich and I think Sunderland. Is that right? Or maybe Sheffield Wednesday we got soon as well. But point being, it's a really tough run of fixtures. Could really do with getting something here, and I reckon the atmosphere will carry it home for us, and I reckon we'd probably sneak a 2-1. I reckon. But I hope he goes back to a 4-2-3-1, or at least get you need to be getting Miyoshi in the team. I play Stansfield as the 9. That's what I'd do. I feel like Hogan has had a lot of chances this season, and I feel like Stansfield needs to be up top.
Jaden Philogene as well will be playing for Hull.
Oh God! All right, well that's their one goal, and that's where their one is coming from.
Yeah, and that game is on Sky Sports, probably on the red button as well.
Yeah, it's on the red button. Yeah, and on Blues TV as well. Yeah. And you're back in Europe on Thursday night, right?
Yeah, we've got our second away game in the Conference League. We're away at AZ Alkmaar. So tough game. So we've spoken a lot about the home form. The away form needs to just get a little bit better, and this will be a really big test because obviously we failed miserably the test in Poland about a month or two ago. So yeah, and there was Legia played RZ when we played Mostar a couple of weeks ago, and there was quite a few incidents, and obviously AZ had a few incidents when they played West Ham in the Conference League last year as well. So
yes,
so for the Villa fans out there, stay safe because I think there will be quite a lively one.
Yeah, even from a Blues fan, yes, don't do anything silly. Yes, play safe.
Yeah. But yeah, be a big game, tough game. Former Brighton goalkeeper Matty Ryan will be in goal in the nets for them. So we know that he's a half decent goalkeeper, and yeah, I think it'll be a tough game, really tough game. And I think if we can sneak, the most important thing for us is that we don't lose the game. The group is completely level pegging. Everyone's got 3 points. We can't really, even if we draw, it doesn't matter what happens in the Mostar Legia game, really. But it's important that we don't really slip up. So if we've got, we could do with winning, obviously, makes a lot of sense. But if you offered me a point, I'd be pretty tempted to take it because I think that home form will carry us in the group. So let's just not muck up the away games again. Play the strong team. If I have to come on this podcast next week, Dad, and say disjointed teams, we give disjointed performances again, I might go insane.
I might
So,
go insane hearing it again. No, but
yeah.
it's so true. It's so true as we've learned with Blues as well this week. Absolutely, 100%. This weekend we're back in action with the early kickoff live on Sky away at Southampton. So that'll be a really tough game. And obviously expect to see us on Sky a lot more between now and whenever
Yeah.
Rooney departs Blues because they've also announced Blues Leicester's going to be on TV. Wonder why? Wonder what's drawing the crowds to
Well,
that
but then
one.
you are playing Southampton and Leicester, so they're two
Yeah,
of the
true, true.
bigger
Yeah, they're
clubs
on a
in the
lot.
championship. So,
That is true.
I mean, if you're a Leicester fan this year, well, pretty much all your games are going to be on Sky.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Southampton, that'd be really tough. Obviously, they went through a phase of conceding loads of goals, but they've also got this real habit of scoring late winners. They actually beat Hull on the weekend, I think, with like a 96-minute goal, I think it
Yeah.
was. So hopefully that could knock Hull a bit when we play them. Yeah, that'll be a really tough game. I reckon if we beat Hull, I think losing to Southampton is kind of acceptable. Obviously, it's a manner of defeat as well.
Yeah.
If we got a draw at Southampton, I think that'd be really good. Obviously, Shay Adams. I think it's maybe the first time we've played a game against his
Yeah, it would
team
be, yeah.
since we sold him. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Only annoying thing is it's a midday kickoff. So what I might have to do, I'm going to be in work. So what I might have to do is record it and watch it when I get in, try and avoid the
Yeah.
score all day. I might have to try to do that. Because yeah, kind
It's
of want to see it play
doable.
on.
If you've got the willpower, you can do it. Because I have to do that. So
Yeah, I might have to turn my phone off for a couple of hours maybe. But yeah, looking forward to it. And you're back in action on Sunday again?
yes, so obviously we play on Thursday, so it's the Thursday Sundays, and of course we're the 2 o'clock kickoff again.
But I don't get why. So your West Ham game, you were the only Sunday game. Why are they putting you on a Sunday when you're on Sunday all the time when you've got to
Yeah,
be for Europe? So just put you on. Why would you then just put them on the Sunday when you don't need to as well? It's really weird.
yeah, yeah. Weird, strange one, but hey ho, can't complain really. Yeah, 2 o'clock, not on telly. It's not really a shock because we're playing Luton. They're barely going to be on. Their away games are barely going to be on telly this year. So, um, yeah, we talk about the great form that we're on. Luton, they got a really, really good point away at Nottingham Forest on Saturday. They were 2-0 down, scored 2 late goals to get a point. They're out of all the promoted teams, they're the ones at the moment that have got the best chance of surviving, just because they're getting better every week.
Yeah.
Burnley and
Burnley
Sheffield
have
United
been,
are getting worse,
yeah,
and
Burnley
Burnley
have
haven't
been
got
terrible.
going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they've been awful. But Luton, that I expect them to. They're not a great team at this level, but they seem to be a team that fight for everything. Um, and they are getting better every week. And they did go and they got a win away at Everton a few weeks ago, just before the international break. So it'd be very classic Aston Villa of a few years ago, or even 12 months ago, to be on this great, incredible Premier League winning streak at home and then go and lose 1-0 at home to Luton. So um, I don't think that'll happen. I do think we'll win. I do think we'll probably win comfortably, but we'll see how. Obviously, we've got to really get used to this championship style of fixtures where it's like 3 games a week. And we've got players in that team that did do that in the championship, so we should be able to do it. And players that have been playing in European football in other leagues, so I don't really buy the excuse a little bit.
No, and with your
So
squad depth as well, there's no excuse really.
yeah, I mean we are about 5 players short of where we'd like to be because of injuries, but you know we should be all right.
Do you have a prediction, a score prediction?
We've been scoring for fun at home. I'll say 4-0.
Whoa.
I'm confident for that. The AZ game could be 1-1, 2-2. I'd take a point there. So, but yeah, I think we've got enough to power past Luton really.
Fair enough. I hope Tahith Chong bags one anyway. I'll take that.
Well, Shay
That'd be
Adams never
nice.
managed it, so
No, he didn't, sadly. Clinton Morrison and Troy Deeney managed a couple back in the day.
so Troy Deeney managed.
Deeney
Oh,
managed
I mean, you
plenty,
could probably
yeah.
have a 20-minute highlights reel of Deeney.
Yeah, probably. He scored more. I wouldn't be shocked if he scored more goals against Villa than he did for Blues in his career. That actually wouldn't shock me at all. Sweet, Carl. Shall we wrap it up there for this week?
Yeah, I think we probably should. I need to go out and have some dinner. So
Yeah, me too. Actually, me too. Sweet. We'll reconvene next week.
yeah, and if you have enjoyed today or any of the episodes that we've done so far, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're on. Like the YouTube video if you're watching there. Subscribe on whatever platform.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, and remember we did a special last week. If you didn't catch it, on Hotter, the curious tale of Hotter Pelotero. A bit like the day Alex McLeish rocked the Second City. They're 2 great episodes. Go and check them out. They are worth every minute of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can find us anywhere with the handle at Second City Pod.
Yeah, that's 2ND City Pod.
Wicked, Cal. I will see you this time next week.
Yes, Dan. Same time next week. Have a good week, and I'll catch you next time.
See you around, dude.